Thank you, Cathaoirleach. And I'd like to welcome Minister Brophy to the House and thank him for his comprehensive contribution. I would like to thank my colleagues, Senator Éireann McGreehan and Senator Niall Blaney, for their foresight in putting this motion forward here on behalf of the Fianna Fáil group. The Good Friday Agreement is perhaps the greatest political achievement of any Irish government since independence. And we in Fianna Fáil are immensely proud of the pivotal part played in its realisation and negotiation by so many of our former leaders and ministers, but we also know that the agreement is owned by everybody on this island, and I would like to take this opportunity to pay tribute also to Senator McDowell for his contribution to the peace process as a minister and as Taoiseach. When we talk about the Good Friday Agreement, we often think of the historic deal reached among the Northern Ireland parties. This is the portion of the document referred to as the multi-party agreement. But the Good Friday Agreement also contains another vitally important element, an internationally recognised agreement between the two governments, the British-Irish Agreement. This British-Irish Agreement is the bedrock of the political settlement reached in the multi-party talks, as it commits the two governments as a matter of international law to implementing that settlement. There are no ifs or buts. It demands that both governments work for the full implementation of what was agreed by the parties in the talks, a demand that was endorsed in referenda by overwhelming majorities across this island. The first line of Article 1 of the British-Irish Agreement could not be clearer, Cathaoirleach. It says that both sovereign governments recognise the legitimacy of whatever choice is freely exercised by a majority of the people of Northern Ireland with regard to its status. The article goes on to say, it would be wrong to make any change in the status of Northern Ireland save with the consent of a majority of its people. The wording is important and uncomplicated. A majority of the people of Northern Ireland. Consent is at the heart of the Good Friday Agreement. It applies equally and in parallel to both communities. It means that each and every vote matters and that each and every vote counts equally. As the late Seamus Mallon, a former member of this House, said at the 1998 British Labour Party conference, equality, parity of esteem and parallel consent are written into the agreement. They are the core of the new dispensation which we can and will implement. Simply put, you cannot say to one community that their vote will count for less or that the bar for their aspirations is to be set higher. That approach prevailed in the North for far too long and was ended by the Good Friday Agreement. Cathaoirleach, I am not calling for a referendum or a border poll today or even tomorrow. We know from Brexit the chaos that can be caused by rushing headlong at the polls without preparation and planning. But the recent results of the Scottish Parliament elections show us that the United Kingdom is not looking as cohesive as it was when the Good Friday Agreement was signed. There will be a border poll at some point, probably, as the former Taoiseach Bertie Ahern has said, within the next 7 to 10 years. So we need to be prepared and ready. And that planning should start now. Preparing and planning for a legitimate political aspiration threatens nobody. This is why I welcome the recent papers presented by my party colleague Jim O'Callaghan TD and by our former Seanad colleague Neil Richmond TD, and indeed yesterday by the Labour Party leader Alan Kelly. Though the agreement was reached just over 23 years ago and has served several fits and starts over the years, we should never lose sight of the fact that the agreement was always about creating a brighter and better future for everyone across this island. As a country, we have benefited hugely from the agreement with an island at peace. The Good Friday Agreement is about the future, as is the Shared Island Unit, whose aims and work this motion also welcomes and endorses. Though things can look bleak at times, and some in the Executive and Assembly struggle to come to terms with the consequences of Brexit, the implications of the Northern Ireland Protocol, and the possible constitutional change in Britain, we must keep sight of the fact that a new future is not only possible, but that it is increasingly viewed as the best possible outcome for more and more of the next generation. The resources of the Shared Island Unit, the strong and essential principles of consent and parity of esteem of the Good Friday Agreement, the political determination to hold this British Government to its solemn commitments. We have an opportunity to build a shared home with place for all of us, one where we celebrate the traditions of all our communities and where free movement of people, goods, services and ideas across Europe is guaranteed. Go raibh míle maith agat.